Well, welcome to the Vital Live Update. It's Monday. How excited are you about Monday, Paul?
Mondays are awesome.
I know, man. You probably, like Friday afternoons, I watch. You're depressed when you leave here. You're like, oh my gosh, I got to wait 2 more days to get back to work.
I don't know what it is about Mondays, but it seems like they're always hit or miss. They're either super busy because everybody's coming back from the weekend,
Right?
or nobody wants to work because it's the start of the week.
Well, that's true, and I have kind of my hit or miss on Mondays too. But hey, today is an incredible Monday because we get to talk about something that we really feel is necessary, especially because we live in South Louisiana, and that's hurricane season. Man, it is already like there's a storm out in the Gulf they're talking about. I don't think it's been named yet, but it's likely going to be. This is kind of early in the season, man, to have.
Yeah, I think we're 14 days into the season, and this is unique to the Gulf Coast. You know, a lot of customers don't have to deal with that are not from around here, and a lot of computer companies like what we do don't have to prepare for it because they're all away from it. But it's something that we have to deal with every year.
Well, that's right. So let's help people prepare. So I thought today we could give them the best 5, suggestions on prepping for hurricane season. And then after, we'll give them a worksheet that actually has a little checkoff sheet that has some other items that they'll be able to download. We'll show them the link in a moment. But why don't you go ahead and let's talk through 5 maybe critical things they need to be thinking about as they're preparing for hurricane season.
Well, and like you said, let's look at the current storm there.
Yeah.
So the good thing about hurricanes, it's not like a tornado or something that we can't prepare for. So we actually have a couple of days ahead of time here, a couple of days notice to kind of know where it's going and see what we need to do. So that's a plus side of a hurricane, is we can actually prepare for that. So a couple of things just to hit off real quick. We're going to start with the main one that a lot of people forget or don't even have is a disaster recovery and business continuity plan. Right. And what that really defines is what is going to happen if a disaster occurs. How are we going to continue our business operations if a hurricane or another disaster happens to come? So if you don't have one, now's the time to get it. Do it in writing so everybody knows what to expect, that your organization knows, hey, we may be down this long. If power's out, this is what our backup contingency plan is. This is how we're going to maintain our business operations. So that's definitely something to look at.
Yeah. So if you were in Lake Charles just this past year, they've been down. Some of them are still, the businesses have not recovered in the location they were at. There was not enough crews to go in and fix it. There was not enough power companies to get them online, or the building infrastructure was so degraded they can't even go back to that location. So when we talk about disaster recovery and business continuity, it's really, if you're going to take a big hit, how to be able to take all your information with you and potentially even have to set up shop in a different location.
Well, and that's part of it. But I mean, again, that was, we had last year was a unique hurricane season. We had several major storms and really unprecedented damage that we haven't really seen before. We had a lot of infrastructure that was damaged, especially in the Lake Charles area. And so I think that's kind of at the forefront of people's mind. But even small, category 1 and 2 storms can knock out power for a significant time, especially with trees that are down and things like that. So it's important to be able to have that in place so you know how you're going to.
So have a plan, get with your leadership team, know how you're going to disseminate that information, know what steps 1, 2, and 3 are in the event you have to set things in motion. So what are some of the things we need to set in motion? What are some of the things we need to be prepping for?
So obviously you want to have that plan in place, but the second thing I would say that is the second most important is to back up all your information. Okay. Make sure you have the backups in place. And a lot of people say, oh yeah, that backup, we back that up every night or we take that off site. And that's part of the backup process, but actually testing it and knowing that your backups work prior to a storm coming is very important.
Yeah.
Because having the data is one thing, but knowing you can actually restore it and use it is another.
Right. And our customers that are part of our MSP, that stuff we do for them. We test them, we back them up. We know that if something were to go down, we actually work in concert with them to make sure those things are in place.
Yes.
Very good. Okay. Backup data,
Next, after that, the storm is obviously coming a little bit closer, and you're getting ready to shut down your business operations while you're preparing for that. The next thing is to be moving any valuable equipment away from the windows.
Yeah.
Now, if you're prone to flooding, like if you're in a low-lying area, that may be something you want to take actually your equipment with you wherever you go, if you're going to evacuate or not. That kind of depends on each person and business that you have. But that's something that you want to make sure if any flooding is possible or any windows that might be broken, to have those items secure.
Mm-hmm. You know, it might be a good idea too for people to think about how they can collaborate with other businesses in other cities. So like businesses, relationships they have, hey, I've got a spare room if there's something you need, and vice versa. Because sometimes you think it's coming to Lafayette, it moves over.
It moves on a dime.
Having those relationships is very valuable to just move it down the road a little bit into out of danger. So
yeah,
that's
and we saw last year when Hurricane Laura, I believe, hit Lake Charles. That's technically only about 70 to 80 miles away from where we are, and the dramatic difference in effect of what we had here versus what they had in Lake Charles was huge. So that's a very good point. I mean, it could be somewhere.
So moving away from windows, have maybe a place to put it outside of harm's way until the storm passes. You can assess what's going to be the result. All right. Well, what's I think that by my count, that's number 3, I believe.
That was number 3. Number 4 is obviously your phone system. How are you going to be able to take calls after the hurricane hits? Are you going to have service? Are you going to have power? Are you going to have internet at your physical location? If you don't, having a voice over IP solution is definitely going to help with that. You can actually, if you're going to evacuate to Dallas, you could take your phone, your desk phone with you, bring it to Dallas, plug it into a hotel or a friend's house, anywhere that you have internet, and still maintain your business operations. You can even have an app on your phone that you're able to use that's just part of your phone system, so you're not missing calls and you're able to still service your customers really from anywhere at that point.
Yeah. Again, another part of that business continuity. And so if you don't have that, now's the time to look and consider a voice over IP structure so that you're not relying on some landline from just AT&T directly in, but you can bring your phone and your service anywhere you go that has internet service provided.
Correct. Okay. And so number 5 and the last one we'll talk about here is kind of another policy, and this is mainly kind of goes back to your business continuity policy, but what's going to happen after the storm if you do have to be down for an extended period of time. Make sure that your work from home policy is updated for your employees, and make sure they know what the expectations are and how you're going to work really from anywhere at that point, from home or out of state if you left. And just kind of, it's almost like pre-planning what you're going to do and how you're going to respond to something.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is how soon we forget, right? So we've kind of got used to that in the COVID era, but now that people are going back to work, it's like it becomes out of mind. And we kind of think that we'll never be back there again. But in South Louisiana, when a hurricane comes, you just don't know what the results will be. So reminding yourself, updating those policies and making sure they're in place. And of course, so you put the link, hurricane.vitalintegrators.com is where they can go to find out more information. And you have that checklist that they can download.
Yeah, they can download this checklist. It actually has 2 parts. It's a checklist of what you need to do before the storm, and it also has a checklist of what you need to do after the storm and when you're trying to go back to the office.
Yeah, it's a really cool check. I think I saw you had it up earlier. I don't know if you still have that handy, but it's a very cool checklist that they can download. It actually lets you check the box. Hey, did I do this? Did I do this? Very simple, clean format. And it's also a way to rally your team around one common goal of protecting yourself. So that way everybody knows the plan. Everybody knows what happens when you institute, some protocol. But the time to deal with that is not when the storm's hitting. It's really right now while we have time to think it through and get everybody on the same page. And again, if there's any help they need with that as it relates to IT and locking that part of it down, they can just simply reach out to us.
Absolutely. They can fill out the form on that website right there. They can give us a call on our number. Drop us an email. Get in touch with us. We will definitely help with that. Anything we can do, even from the policies, helping with that, just kind of giving you some advice on how to structure that, what should be included, making sure all of those backups are in place, or if you need a voice over IP solution. That's all stuff that you can really be looking at now. That's going to help in the future.
All right. Well, Paul, I'm so glad you showed up on a Monday. and gave us some great advice and some great wisdom. And again, I hope that they'll reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to work with them, walk through and get that checklist, have that handy. If you are a department head, owner of a company, have any responsibility of teams, you really need to go ahead and just take the initiative now and get ahead of it, because it's coming whether we like it or not. It's just, we live in a great community. I love South Louisiana, but these are some of the things we have to deal with that maybe other parts of the country don't.
That's true. Yeah, you got
thank you all
the fires out in California, and
Yeah.
we have to deal with hurricanes. So.
That's right. That's right. That's why we all have boots. That's all right. Hey, thank you guys for joining us today for the final update. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.